Next tonight, one of Devon's oldest industrial sites is undergoing a major transformation. Stowford Mill in Ivybridge was a paper mill for more than 200 years. But since it closed 5 years ago, the Grade 2 listed buildings have been falling into ruin. Now, though, developers say they're transforming the site. Our reporter Claire Manning has been along to learn about its history.
If walls could talk, I tell you, this red brick chimney and old building would have more than a few tales. Stowford Mill's been here in one form or another since 1555, but when it ceased operating as a paper mill in 2013, the fear was this site would be left to decay. Now, though, developers are saying, following in the footsteps of Plymouth, this site could be Ivybridge's version of the city's trendy Royal William Yard.
We're working closely with the heritage organisation in Ivybridge to preserve a lot of the heritage features here, and we're reaching out to the community to work with us during the project and also to come and be part of this project post-completion.
Where now you see rubble, there are plans for a version of a town square, restaurants, cafes, boutique shops, housing and a heritage centre. And while many remain disappointed this is no longer a paper mill, many say the current condition of the site is no way to honour its history.
If you were born after 1927 in England or Wales, your birth certificate was made here, the paper for it. So there's lots of things that are special about the mill. Lots of mills around the country are now housing estates, there isn't a brick left, and we're fortunate to be keeping the shape of our building. I would have preferred the mill to have stayed as it was, but people don't use paper anymore.
Now, you'll have heard of the rag and bone man. Of course, he was the chap that would go through the streets collecting up the rags and the bones, and many of those rags would have ended up in here, the rag loft. And this room would have been filled with women taking off the buttons and the fastenings from those materials. The material would be chopped up and boiled with chemicals and eventually turned into paper.
OK, so that's a much simplified version of how paper was made. But as these archive pictures show, it was a dirty and often dangerous business. The heyday of this mill was in the mid-19th century, when more than 300 people worked here. The arrival of the railway to the town in 1848 helping the mill's survival. The swooping arches of Brunel's railway viaduct still framing the site.
Most people who started in this mill would stay in the mill for the rest of their working life. The machinery was quite dangerous, especially if you went back to the start of my career in the paper industry. But as things progressed, we got better at protecting the machinery and protecting, which is more important, the people who were working on it.
Ivybridge has long been seen, rather unfairly many locals would say, as simply an extension of Plymouth.
In the South Hams there's Dartmouth, Totnes, Kingsbridge. People all have a picture of what those communities are, and Ivybridge has struggled because we've tended to be seen as really a large housing estate for Plymouth. So this will really put us on the map. Ivybridge should be the place to come in 2020, so watch this space.
It's expected the first people will move into their new home here at the beginning of next year. Claire Manning, ITV News, Ivybridge.